Hi, Taurus Sun and Rising. Welcome to your July 2024 Astro Update. It's Rena here. Before I continue, please forgive. I'm apologizing on behalf of I was going to say crickets, but cicada invasion. And there's also a dreaded leaf blower in the background as well. So July finds the Cancer transits at a friendly angle to Taurus. This is your third house, and that deals with communication. If you're the kind of person that wants to express yourself in some way, like on social media, this can be a month where it really comes together for you. So the sun is there as the month begins, and Mercury is there as well as the month begins. But on the second of the month, Mercury goes into Leo, and that is your fourth house of home and family. So you could be hearing news about real estate. You could be researching into where do I want to live? Looking at listings, just thinking about it, trying to prepare yourself mentally for it. Talking to people in that industry. It's also the house of the mother. Some people say the father, so you might be talking to one of them more than usual. And on the same day, Neptune goes retrograde at 29 degrees 56 minutes of Pisces. This is your 11th house of hopes and wishes, friendships and groups. So you may become disillusioned by someone that you socialize with or a group of people. Sometimes I think of these groups as they might be humanitarian groups, political groups, whatever. And you realize they're not who they claim to be. And that could feel like a letdown. Because Neptune is very idealistic. This is the house of friendships and groups, but also your hopes and wishes. So you may have been holding on to this long-range goal, and something about it is completely, it's being exposed as impractical, as not worth pursuing, and it could kind of jolt you because you may have been pouring energy into it, but it's also there to help because it can let you know where you need additional healing, perhaps. But it's better to have an unrealistic goal exposed than to just spend all this time trying to make it happen and finding out that it's just not going to work. So, it is what it is. On the 5th, we have a new moon at 14 degrees of Cancer, and this is in that third house of teaching and learning. There could be some developments there. Maybe you're getting hired somewhere in some school district or some, like as a tutoring type of job. It could be embarking upon some kind of training for credentials or certificate of some kind. Starting a new website, any kind of communication, social media launch. On the 11th, Venus goes into Leo, and so now we're looking at Venus joining Mercury in that fourth house. So how this can play out is if you own a home, and you're looking to beautify it in some way. That might be what is going on. Venus can be about making something more attractive, but also Venus can connect with money. So money for a home, selling a home and getting or real estate and getting some profits from that. Harmony within the domestic area of life, with your mom, with or receiving money from your mother, receiving money from if the fourth house represents your father to you, then receiving money from him, or having more harmony in your relationship with this person. On the 20th, Mars goes into Gemini, and this is a very interesting thing for Taurus, because Gemini is your second house, and it's your second house, but you rule the second house. That's what I meant to say. Everybody has a second house, but you rule in astrology the second house. What is the second house? Earned income, but I would just say income, money, moolah, cash, can be bling. Oops, I dropped my phone. What I mean is anything that is, it could be jewelry, anything, luxury items is what I meant to say. Your possessions in general can be the second house. It can be your self-esteem. So Mars here could give you more of a backbone, more, Taurus tends to be very chill. And you might be so chill that you let people kind of walk all over you sometimes, because your ruler Venus is a lover, not a fighter. Well, Mars is going to make you a fighter, but I don't mean, it doesn't have to be combative. It'll just mix in with what you already have, and maybe it'll just give you a little bit of an edge. But basically, it can be any money that you receive, but in this particular case, there's a very active component to it. So it might be that you're actually hustling. Maybe you've got different irons in the fire, different income streams, and you're really actively pursuing them. The significance of this is that this is the first time that Mars has been here since March of 2023. So we're looking at over a year. And, Mars does come once a year typically, but during the retrograde of starting in 2022, it was in Gemini, and it stayed in that one place for 7 months. So if you think back to from August of 2022 until March of 2023, you might get a feel for how that felt. But that was different, because there was something that you needed to do over. Now we're talking about full steam ahead. It's not going to be anything, but it is slowing down, and it won't get past Leo at the end of this year, which is not how it normally operates, because it's going to go retrograde in Leo. So, and that's your fourth house. So what this can mean is that in the second house, it's activating it at this time. And that can actually be very good, because you may have more of a sense of urgency about making money. There might be a particular purchase that is motivating you, and that's always helpful. But it doesn't necessarily have to be anything in particular. You might just be, maybe there are opportunities that are presenting themselves to you, and you're just going after them. So that could indicate that your finances are increasing. The very next day, we have a blue moon, 29-degree Capricorn full moon. And for you, Capricorn is your 9th house. So there was one at 1 degree, and now there's one at 29 degrees. Now, the one at 1 degree, this is a general reading, so that's really important to keep in mind. That one might be in your 8th house. Could easily be in your 8th house. As a matter of fact, I have Taurus rising, and I have, I think, like 12 degrees of Capricorn in my 8th house. So you may have some Capricorn, and all you need is 1 degree and some minutes for it to be in that particular house. And that house is about shared resources. That's the opposite house of the 2nd house. And that could be some kind of event that ushers in what this full moon represents. The 9th house can be the law. The 9th house is definitely connected to God and your life philosophy. The 8th house is also a spiritual house, so it may be spiritual downloads that you receive. But I mean, even if it has to do with other people's money, it can be about your values and your meaning of life. For instance, some people are, I would say like Taurus, because you are an earth sign, you might really be oriented towards material resources, and that could be your main focus in life. And then you realize that even with money, it doesn't necessarily make you happier, or it doesn't necessarily give your life more meaning. And, so these are the kind of life lessons that really enrich us, so it's not going to be, oh, wow, it's just, I'm going to get a download, big whoop. No, this could, in some cases, be life-changing. And remember, this is the blue moon. Maybe you're ending some kind of trip that you have taken overseas, and you have had an amazing adventure, and it has broadened your worldview. The 9th house is about expansion and long-distance travel, or graduating. The 9th house can be higher education. So there's so many possibilities that what this means to you, but it's something very special, being a blue moon. And if you've written a book, you might be finishing it. This is publishing, 9th house. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Leo, so the sun goes into that domestic area. And then on the 25th, Mercury goes into Virgo, and that's your 5th house, which is a house of creativity and love. You could be speaking to someone that you're crushing on. You could be writing creatively. I just talked about publishing, 9th house, but you might be on a roll. You publish one thing and then you start writing in the next thing. The 5th house is the house of pleasure, so especially anything intellectual that you engage in can be very pleasurable, like plays. Like I said, I have Taurus rising, and my whole 5th house is Virgo. So maybe I'll schedule a play, during that time, or anything that has to do with learning new things, maybe, as I stated, creative writing. This can also be thinking about or planning a business. This can be your business, the 5th house, the business that you own. So maybe you are starting a new one, and you're in that planning stage. So very interesting. For the Northern Hemisphere, these transits are falling in the heart of summer. And this is a time when it tends to be rather slow because people are on vacation and school is out, so children are probably spending more time with their parents, and there's not the everyday grind as much as there is the rest of the year. So you can get into that mode of more like reading for pleasure too. Yeah, maybe that's how I'll use this energy myself. So anyway, Taurus, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. And if you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings, which are a package deal. I sell these readings separately because some people just want one thing versus the other. But they do go together. I used to just do one reading with both of these elements in it, but now I'm offering them separately. And I expanded the time, so it's at least an hour each of natal chart interpretation and transits for the next 12 months. And it's called my deep dive reading. And if you like the tarot too, because I'm also a tarot reader, I have the whole enchilada. I actually got that term from Dr. Wayne Dyer. He was on the PBS drive once with in the Chicago area, our local station, and he was selling his books and all of that stuff. And he had like the whole enchilada. You could buy all of his products for one price. So that's kind of where I got that from. And so that includes all 3 readings for a special price. And I have also love readings and career readings of your child's natal chart to see about their talents and temperament. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thanks for listening. Bye.